The first time I told my fishing buddies in Ohio that I was going after tench, they looked at me like I was talking about a mythical creature. Most American anglers have never even heard the word tench. Yet this fish has a cult following in Europe and is quietly spreading across North America. Tench are not native to the United States, but they are here, and in more places than most people realize. They were introduced more than a century ago as a food fish. Now they live quietly in pockets of lakes and slow rivers, often right under our noses. What makes tench fascinating is that they look like something from another era. Their thick bodies, tiny red eyes, and olive gold scales give them a prehistoric vibe. When you catch one, it feels like pulling history out of the water. Many anglers assume they're just another type of carp. That's only half true. Tench belong to the carp family, but they behave completely differently in the water. In this video, I want to walk you through the world of tench fishing in America. I'll share where they live, how to recognize them, and what makes them so unique. By the end, you'll understand why European anglers obsess over this fish. Let's start with classification. Tench belong to the species Tinca. They are the only species in their genus, which already tells you how special they are. Unlike common carp, grass carp, or bighead carp, tench have no close relatives in US waters. Their isolated classification means their habits evolve differently. That's why standard carp tactics often fail with them. There are several color variations of tench, even though they're the same species. The most common is the green tench with dark olive or bronze scales. In clear water, they can glow with a golden sheen. Another form is the golden tench, sometimes kept in ornamental ponds. These fish look like swimming gold bars. Finding one in the wild in America is extremely rare, but it has happened. There's also a blue tench variant, which appears bluish-gray in certain lighting. This color morph is subtle and easy to miss. Most anglers don't realize what they caught until they look closely. Tench prefer calm, weedy waters. They love shallow lakes, backwaters, old quarry pits, and slow river bends. If you see lily pads, soft mud, and clear patches between weeds, you're in tench territory. In the US, they are most commonly reported in parts of the Midwest, Pacific Northwest, and some northeastern states. Idaho has well-documented populations. Washington and Oregon also hold surprising numbers. What's wild is that many of these waters are heavily fished for bass or bluegill. Tench live right alongside them, but anglers never target them. They're the invisible residents of our lakes. Tench are bottom feeders, but not sloppy ones. They use sensitive barbels near their mouths to detect tiny invertebrates. Worms, insect larvae, snails, and small crustaceans make up most of their diet. This feeding style means they spend a lot of time rooting in soft mud. When they feed, they create little clouds of silt. If you ever see unexplained puffs of mud rising in calm water, a tench might be working that spot. One thing that sets tench apart is their toughness. They tolerate low oxygen levels better than almost any freshwater fish in America. That's why they thrive in swampy, weedy ponds where other fish struggle. Now let's talk about their behavior. Tench are most active during dawn and dusk. Midday bites are rare unless the water is heavily shaded or overcast. They are cautious feeders. Unlike carp that suck in baits aggressively, tench often mouth a bait gently. Your bite indicator might barely twitch before they commit. This makes them incredibly challenging to catch. You can sit over a school of feeding tench for an hour and never see a clear bite. When it finally happens, it feels like solving a puzzle. I usually fish for them with light tackle. A medium light rod, thin line, and small hooks work best. Heavy base gear is overkill and kills the fun. My favorite rig is a simple slip sinker setup. A small sliding weight above a swivel, a short fluorocarbon leader, and a size 8 or 10 hook. This allows the fish to pick up the bait without feeling resistance. Bait choice is critical. Night crawlers are great, but too big sometimes. I prefer red worms, mealworms, or small pieces of corn tipped with a worm. In Europe, anglers use fancy ground bait mixes. Here in the States, I make my own from breadcrumbs, crushed corn, and a little vanilla flavoring. It sounds weird, but tench love sweet scents. Chumming lightly is a game changer. Toss a few small balls of your mix into the same spot every 10 minutes. This creates a feeding area and keeps the fish interested. Tench fight differently than bass. They don't jump. Instead, they dig down and pull steadily like a living anchor. The first time I hooked one, I thought I had snagged a log. Then the log started moving. That slow, stubborn power is addictive. Average tench in America weigh between 2 and 4 pounds. 5-pounders are trophies. In Europe, they can reach double digits, but that's still rare here. Spawning season is late spring into early summer. They lay eggs on submerged vegetation. During this time, they are almost impossible to catch because they ignore food. When summer heat hits, tench retreat into deep weed beds. Fishing right on the edge of those weeds is key. You don't fish in the jungle, you fish the doorway to it. Fall is my favorite season for tench. Cooling water wakes up their appetite. They feed hard before winter and become much more catchable. Winter tench fishing is possible in some states. They go almost dormant, but on warm afternoons you can still get a bite. It's like ice cold treasure hunting. One reason tench are overlooked is that they aren't flashy. No jumps, no explosive strikes, but the reward is in the mystery and the patience. Every tench feels like you discovered a secret. You're not following a trend, you're exploring forgotten water. That's something every true angler craves. Tench are also incredible survivors. They can live more than 20 years. That fish you catch today might have been feeding in that same pond before you ever picked up a rod. Handling them is easy if you're gentle. Their slime coat is thick and protects them from infection. Wet your hands and release them carefully. Some states consider tench invasive, so always check local regulations. In certain areas, you may be required to harvest them. Know the rules before you fish. If you want a new challenge, tench are it. They force you to slow down, they teach you to read water, watch bubbles, and trust your instincts. Every time I target tench, I feel like I'm bridging continents. Using European tactics in American lakes is a beautiful blend of cultures. It reminds me that fishing has no borders. The gear doesn't matter as much as the mindset. Patience beats power. Observation beats casting distance. Once you catch your first tench, you'll never forget it. That dark golden body in your net will feel like a personal discovery. You'll start looking at quiet, weedy ponds in a whole new way. So next time you pass a calm, forgotten lake, don't just think about base. Think about what might be cruising silently in the mud below. A tench might be waiting for you. And when that subtle bite finally turns into steady pressure on your line, you'll know you've joined a very small club in America. The club of tench anglers. Trust me, it's worth it.